Whenever I come to this great city of Jerusalem, I feel a renewed reverence for Him who made this land holy.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. I take you back to 1450 BCE. Pharaoh David Moses III learns of a Hittite invasion and occupation of northern Canaan. And so he takes the lead of his armies, riding out in his chariot to go and quell the insurrection and the occupation of the Hittites. He confronts them in the Valley of Armageddon. And does a flank maneuver to part the mountains and catches them off guard. In the midst of this battle, for reasons he does not record, he goes on vacation, puts his foot on the Mount of Salem, of the little hamlet with the tribal leader Jesse. King Jesse was married into the house of Sheba, and with the visit of the Pharaoh, King Jesse gave his oldest unmarried daughter to the Pharaoh, as was custom. Thereafter, the child born in Egypt would return to Salem, as Jesse would then have a palace built and a temple built for the return of the son of Pharaoh David Moses III and his daughter, to be the king of Salem and to preserve the bloodline of the house of David Moses, the 18th dynasty. We skip ahead to 597 BCE. Nebuchadnezzar takes over and destroys Assyria, establishes the kingdom of Babylon, and goes with his army. I think he just sends his army. I don't think he goes. The coward. But his army goes and informs all of the tributary villages that they are now giving tribute to him in Babylon. The old and busted Assyrian government is destroyed, and he is the new world order. And he decides to even expand his army, or his territory, by going in and taking the land of Judah and conquering Jerusalem, and replaces the Davidic king with his brother Zedekiah, new name, priest of Yah, false priest. And so Judah is now to give tribute to Babylon. 11 years later, on 9th Ave, the 11th month, 9/11. Just day is first. 586 BCE. Zedekiah was a naughty boy, refused to give tribute to Babylon. And so, the king of Babylon sends his army and utterly destroys Jerusalem, destroys the temple, destroys the palace, takes Zedekiah hostage, takes others hostage of the elite, and takes them captive into Ur of Babylon. They're put into a concentration camp. It's getting ahead. The Romans now rule the world, have their soldiers around the gates of Jerusalem. There are many Jews who want to restore the kingdom of David. And so they rise up to attempt to be the man like Moses. David, Moses the third, the prophesied descendant who would restore the kingdom, coming back to the mount. They had seen the sign in the heavens on the 4th of April, or 8th of April, 4 CE. Associative memory is a bummer. Due to many mistakes if I'm not reading from a script. Stanford reminded me of this yesterday, talking about Actus and Mens. I screwed him up because the idea came to me while on the bus ride home, and so I wrote it down on my little note paper. And so that's what I was going off of, was my memory. I should have referenced it first. I didn't. My bad. They're all gonna laugh at you. The content is still known by the lawyers in the corporate board of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's all I needed to know, to get across. Nonetheless. So there is no script. I just have this little stuff that I jotted down this morning because I woke up with this video. So the title was before I left, and the rest was what I needed to check on. Wanting to make sure that Jesse wasn't Jesus. But yeah, he is. After King David Moses visited. Jesse, now of the Ammon priesthood, the sun god at noonday. So thus Jesus. And thus why these Qumran community Jews wrote the Isaiah scroll about the prophecies of the coming of Emmanuel, of the Ammon priesthood of David Moses III, who would be the man like Moses, who would be the seer, prophet, revelator, translator to restore the kingdom. there was some uprisings in Rome. They were trying to remove Rome from occupying their land. Rome crushed them. And finally, on 9th Ave, yet again, 70 CE, Rome destroyed Jerusalem, destroyed the temple that was rebuilt. When the king of Persia said, "You may go back to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple." So yes, the Jews saw the prophecy. They always see the prophecy of the first Solomon, king of Salem. The N is a suffix determinative. William Foxwell Albright did scientific research rather than taking the advice of Sir Alan Gardner to rig it all. Proto-Sinaitic was in the Ptolemaic period, guys. Dear God. It's not the oldest language of the alphabet. My hell. Hathor, dude, that was your clue. You have to fix everybody who thinks they're a professional, and they screw it up. And then you get dumb people who say, yeah, we can't trust science. Jesus is true. There was no Jesus. Notice how I didn't bring him up, other than for Jesse and Isaiah, whose name is Jesus. Yeah, you don't see it because we say Isaiah rather than Jesus Yah. That's not my fault. Christians who screwed up all of the phonetics. So yes, we skip ahead after the destruction of Jerusalem the second time to 325 CE, the creation, first time ever existing of Christians. Constantine forces congregations to gather to become one, to give up their religion, to give up their scripture, to give up their creed of that scripture, which, oh my God, seriously? How did you screw up the interpretation of the word? Nonetheless, they did. The Jews who wrote it had a specific meaning. So, for example, John talks about the word at the beginning. The congregation that chose that gospel and built their creed on it literally believed that the text is talking about the word having magical powers, that the word is God, because it says so. And so the story of Jesus is not real. They knew this. And so to screw up the interpretation, they say that the Word is God. That reading the Word, and expands to all words of Scripture, but they chose John, is what gives you the Spirit. You are filled with the Spirit of God through reading. That is their religion. God. So you can see how Christianity still continued to adopt it, as they included the book of John in their Bible. They He just didn't have the same beliefs of that congregation where the bishop came to Constantine's Nicene Council. He had to give it up. He had to now accept the new God created by Roman Emperor Constantine. They named him Jesus. And so, why did you put the book of Matthew in then? The Jewish author of Matthew makes it very clear in chapter 1. They didn't have chapters and verses, by the way. That it's about the future Jewish Christ, Messiah, Ben David. Verse 1. I should add a second one. On standby. Need to get a mini fridge. Pull out. Also a mini freezer. Have to be in Zion if Mormons finally repent. Because if you hadn't caught on yet, this is history you've never heard before. Because a bunch of experts screwed it up. It was real simple. I walked right into it. Just like my dad. He's going to put me to shame. Stop all the studying of Egyptian, Travis. I'll show him. He's good for nothing. I found a test online with AOL on how to test you for your knowledge in Egyptian, and I failed. I got 0. So certainly my son will get negatives. Hey, Travis, I'm going to help you with your career field. I found a test online to take to see how well you are in Egyptian. Oh, cool. All right. Hours later. When is this ever going to end? I'm getting bored. Finally. 100%. Oh, it's fun, Dad. See ya. Thank you, Dad. I love you. Go to your room. What did I do wrong? I don't understand, Daddy. I just want to be loved. We're veering off course. So, the first creed of Christianity creates Christianity. Never existed before. Creates a new idol god in violation of the Jewish 10 Commandments. They name this Trinity Jesus. And they turn all scriptures, not just the Jews, but the Romans, Persians, Greeks, Babylonians, Hittites, Canaanites, Egyptians, into literal history. Constantine knows the Jewish dates for the coming of the prophesied Messiah, Ben David Moses III, because he gives as his sign the Cairo. The Chi is the shadow of the sun god Amun at noonday, cast upon the earth for the day and the hour and the location on earth with his name. He who is from the crossroads of the Wagoner sun god at noonday. And then the row is the Egyptian flag symbol for God. Constantine knew and covered it all up and hid it with his first creed to destroy all evidence with a simple mistranslation, misinterpretation, and then they'd have to alter definitions to screw those up too. So faith, repentance, baptism, Spirit, God, atonement, resurrection, all screwed up from what the Jews originally meant them to be. The restoration of their kingdom by their Christ in the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt have no other Christ. Thou shalt not make any graven image of a cross and a hanging dead man. That, by the way, Cairo, hello, Russia, what the hell? Just ask me. Don't get touchy and try to steal my Paleo-Hebrew research. Just ask. We want to know what Arzeh is. We created it and we don't know what it is and where it comes from. Just ask. It's the Cairo of Constantine. Just ask. That's all I had to do. So, 75 years later, the Jew, or the Christians, there's one particular, several of them are trying it, but the one guy gets his approved. He's assembling from all scriptures those that he approves of for his collection that would become called the Bible, with old and busted gospel and new hotness gospel, because they turned it all literal history. And so it's the Roman period Jesus, written at least 100 years to 200 years after, talking about a future Jewish Christ, Emmanuel, and how his literal history. This is historical negationism. This was the first abomination of it. Though there were some other versions, if I were to explain further, in Egyptian stuff. Carving out of previous pharaohs. We're erasing him from history. It's still there. He's erased. He's a false Christ. He's an antichrist. I'm erasing him. I'm the king. Follow me and you'll never go hungry again. Be prepared. It's amazing, we're only at 25 minutes into the video. Well, that would be several hours in by now. And so, pastors of the New World Order of religion and government, Holy Roman Empire, preached from this Latin Vulgate. There were those Christians who, and it could be Jews, but no. They'd have to be harmonizing it with the Latin Vulgate, which was around the same time period, and so I'm not buying it. That's just the Christians trying to forge documents, claiming that the Septuagint was pre-Constantine to reaffirm that the Latin Vulgate is true. But in the Latin Vulgate, they added the Roman god into Isaiah's passage. Lucifer. And so, as the pastors began to preach from the Latin Vulgate in Latin, this is how the membership would be allowed to learn about the scriptures. Constantine took away education, destroyed science, destroyed history. And so these new preachers of Christianity were the only education for the people, other than existence and learning how to live and survive. And so these pastors are the ones responsible for vilifying the Jews, who murdered their unmurderable, immortal Jesus, who doesn't exist, because the nature and character in the first creed of Christianity is not real. That's the translation. Consubstantial? Yeah, not real. That's it. Ta-da! Surprise, Christians. Not real. Jesus is not real. Constantine made up a word because nobody could agree on which nature and character Jesus would have. You have that one group with John who insisted the Word is God. The Word is Spirit. That's the nature and character. And we're sticking to it. We'll give up our religion, but we're not giving up the nature and character. They gave up the nature and character. Constantine settled the debate and made up a word. Homusion. Not real. Duh. Yeah, all these Christians trying to come up with ways to explain it to their membership. It's like an egg. It has an outer shell, has an inner white part, and then the yolk in the middle. No, that's real. Homusion is not real. You can't use real to explain not real. Not real is not real. That's it. That's all you tell them. Yeah, we have a fake God. He's not real. Believe him or die. Because the church is true. Don't forget to pay us money. Tribute. %10 of all your income. Income, not interest. We're not illiterate, you are. We made you illiterate. Dark Ages, for a reason. So we skip ahead to 1st of May, 1776. Johann Adam Weishaupt, in the Germany territory. I don't think it's called Germany yet. Again, I would need the reference in front of me. But I do recall that it wasn't always called Germany. is furious with Christianity and its takeover of government as a theocracy. That these royal kings believe they're the literal bloodline from Jesus. And Sophia, his baby girl of his wife Mary. The Holy Grail bloodline. Killer bunnies. Now that I've introduced that, we can use that as the theme song in the description below. Because I saw that last night. Finally. Of course, Disney, true to form, screws up their DVD. 30 seconds because they freeze the recording. How incompetent does this highly professional company have to be? Oh, I better stick to streaming because these DVDs are just so old and busted. Bleep you, Disney. Anti-American commies. Get 'em, Trump. Senator McCarthy with his Red Scare tried to get Disney. He knew. All them Hollywood liberals of the KKK. We're the true KKK. Neo-Nazis. Johann Adam Weishaupt, pissed, decides he's going to form the Illuminati order with 5 members, using Lucifer from the Latin Vulgate of Isaiah as his god, thus the inverted pentagram of 5 points, pointing down for a falling star. It's the second coming of Jesus, condescending to earth. And if you didn't know, because for some reason you didn't go to his website, that was the Mormons' explanation for the pretty star on the keystones of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. Just say you don't know. If you're not going to tell the truth that we're Lucifer's, he's our God, but we're not there yet. We still got 3 more hours to go. God, I hope not. Since we're doing so well on time, I should try to rush and get this over with. Go on with my day. I've got Strange New World Season 3 to watch today. That finally came out on DVD. See, that's why I'm excited about Paramount taking over. Because at least they'll still do DVDs. And their DVD quality is very good. Disney. God. Oh my God. 3 times 10 seconds each for 30 seconds. I hear people talking, but the camera's frozen. Hello, director. So he forms the Illuminati with 5 to create a destruction company to originally terrorize and destroy things, to cause problems. And the police were able to shut down operations as they expanded and continued to increase in membership into their little gang of destruction company. And so they decided to do a different tactic. That they would infiltrate all of the different groups, organizations, governments, religions, orders, to first infiltrate, rise up in number, increase their membership, rise up in rank, take over leadership, destroy it. New World Order. And so with the destruction, you're going to have some scattering. There may be some who stay behind to make sure it stays in line. But the scattering is going to the next groups. So on and so on and so on. To ultimately destroy the whole world. Eliminating Christianity. Eliminating the Christian influence on governments because of how stupid people are and causing such great atrocities. Blaming the Jews for the Black Plague because you didn't want to bathe. Because you turned it literal history and thought it was King David having sex with the Queen of Sheba, of the husband Uriah, who, yeah, there's the sun god, sending him into the war to die so that he can have the honey bunny all to himself. Zootopia. How different species can fall in love and solve crime. DEI is so true. Oh my hell, science denial us. And I just don't think that you guys are innocent, MAGA. You know you're science denialists too. You're both extremists. Stop it. You're both from the original source that branched out. The Illuminati. Yep. Gotcha. You busted. And so, 4th of July, 1776, America declares independence from King George. Raiders! Sedition! Death penalty! Drawn and quartered, entrails removed from their bodies, and hanged. His favorite part. National treasure, Nicholas Bleepin' Cage. Did Bigfoot take it? I love you! You're still angry. Give me that. Do I look pregnant? Yep. The national treasure is all about what I'm about to get to soon. Maybe in an hour. The real story. Not the Hollywood liberties story of communism. See, I can tie it all together. I can do it. I can do it. Because the kids are the ones who watch this, and they scream to Mommy, Mommy, something's wrong with the DVD. Fine, I'll buy a subscription to Disney Plus again, or whatever name they're going by these days. Even though we're supposed to be boycotting Disney for their abuse of Israel. Jews! Wonderful pie! Oh, it's a Disney film. Also, one of the annoyances of associative memory, I stray on tangents. But it all has to do with the subject matter. I stay on topic. Stay on topic. Luke, use the Force. Stay on topic. You do know Jews, right? You couldn't catch on to Jedi, Judah, Yoda, Judah, the Sith Lords, or the children of Seth. Amidala, handmaid. Anakin, masturbator. My 7th grade English teacher taught us the difference between master and mister. A mister is a married man. A master is an unmarried man. So then Batman comes along and explains to us the same thing. Master Grayson. Dick. Master Dick Grayson. Good job, creator. Good job. Master Wayne. His father, Mr. Wayne. Because the 7th grade teacher's name was Bader. And so, yes, he introduced himself as Master Bader. And thus he had to immediately explain to 7th graders. Tuffrey Junior High. Look it up. It's so true. That was the only sex education I got as a kid, and I didn't even know it was sex ed that I was being taught. I had no clue what masturbation is. I'm Mormon. I don't get taught these things. I just have to pay 10% of my candy money to the church. as I would find out it's not for the poor. It's for Jesus' free atonement. What the bleeping hell? I'm a kid. You're stealing money from a kid? And thus you're stealing candy from kids. What the bleeping hell? I have to go buy those candy cigarettes because the line for the Space Invaders is long. That would be 8th grade when we moved to Corona. And the start of seminary, the first group to be apostates. It was all a setup. They framed us, teaching us how to use the scientific method on the scriptures, and then would betray us and pull it out to have Mormons hate us. You're using the scientific method, we're using the spiritual method. We know more than you. Whatever. Dark ages of Mormonism back again. Anyway, tangents. Tangents galore. So, 1800. After the founding of America, Constitution, 1787. Again, need references. Fact check me. 1800, the Illuminati learns of the new America, and they got over to America to, again, do their tactic. But they were stopped. It was a threat, was recorded by a guy named Scott. I don't know his phone name. I don't think I should probably check. But I'm not going to waste time on it. I didn't check it in advance, so we're not doing it. We're getting closer to 50 minutes into the video. I got Sarah up on the screen. I made the pretty picture last night. Sarah is awesome. You can tell. She's not hiding anything. I can't believe ABC4 News Utah would do that to her. But I seriously do want to take her camping. Whether she likes it or not. Because I'm watching the video. YouTube lifted the ban. And of course, I'm listening to every word she says. See, I do that to hot chicks. Hey, listen. Because their particular tonal voice is fascinating. It's all different. Every woman is different. Amazing. But yeah, read it. You already read it. You probably got disgusted with me. Leave her alone. She's a Mormon girl, and her bark is oh, that's the wrong song. She's just a Mormon girl. Leave her alone, they said. Separated families by the Church of Jesus Christ. And I know the church is false. Leave it alone, Sarah. It needs work. Needs work. So, On 14th of January, 1802, in Vermont now, Nathaniel Wood of the New Israelites, excommunicated from the Congregationalists, starts up his religion as Jewish Kabbalah. Hebrew as the angelic tongue. Using the book of Revelation with its days and hours of the coming of the Christ in the latter days. That book almost didn't make it into the Christian Bible. It's so not true as literal history. But if it hadn't have been for Jesus in there, they even had to include the letters of John at the beginning to make it more real. Because just the apocalypse part, oh hell no, fake news. And he has William Cowdery and Joseph Smith Sr. attending his meetings as often as occasion would permit, such that when Justice Winchell joined, because he wanted to become a member, because membership has its polygamous privileges called spiritual wifery. William and Joseph did not become members, but attended their meetings as often as occasion would permit, because of the Jewish Kabbalah lessons. Justice Winchell would teach dowsing, and so William Cowdery, learning to be a rodsman, taught it to his son Oliver, to have the rod of Aaron. Junior utilized rocks in a hat. Kids. Yeah, both William and Joseph were smart enough to know this is crap. And so they taught it to their kids as kids' games for family home evening. How does everybody miss this? It does not make you rich. It makes you poor and everybody laughs at you. Kids' games. Junior is a kid. Hello? 1805, guys, do the math. More days. It's Friday. Yeah, Friday after the Friday the 13th next week. Isn't that fun? Hand it over, Oaks. Quit fooling around. You're old and busted. I exposed you. Hand it over, criminal. I ate the whole plate of donuts. I had my birthday cake early yesterday. It was awesome. Smith's, their bakery, the lemon cake. And I keep trying to tell businesses this. Nobody seems to know the best business strategy to use to sell their goods. You gotta sell them at the lowest price possible, but make it the bestest quality that you can make it. And so they had different varieties of baked little cakes there on the table at the checkout, which I probably told you about yesterday. And so I'm checking the prices. And I see something that's $3.75 and other prices, and I see the lemons. The lemon cakes are $2. I want my $2 cake. And so, did I buy one? Nope. 3. I ate the whole lot of them. I'm not going to let them intimidate me. She did it. She's the one. Why didn't you use her in the Transformers 2? Instead, you have to come out and try to explain why he's not dating the old and busted woman who goes on to a different career field. Evil jock concubine. With the training bra. So creepy and hilarious at the same time. If women only knew. If women only knew. It's just bullies. Don't listen to bullies. Anyway, we won't go that tangent. So, yeah. 14th of January, 1802. I had to get that reference and write it down. 2 years after the Illuminati attack in America. He thinks that by reading the book of Revelation, he found a date for Armageddon. Of the destroying angel who's going to sweep across the United States of America and destroy it. And so he gathers the members. William and Joseph are not members. They don't get to come to his little chapel in Vermont, the next town over from where the Cowderies were living. Yes, Ethan Smith, View of the Hebrews guy. Yeah, he would come in after this. The Smiths are gone. Those of you who know, I think, know about that, right? So even though Cowdery had partly we're jumping ahead. Jumping ahead. Here we are, we're coming up on an hour. There we go. Back in true form. Back in true form. And so the surrounding villagers, townsmen, learn of this. And they're scared. They think they're witches. That they're going to cause Armageddon. To satanic prayers from Lucifer, who murdered Jesus through the Jews possessing them. Exactly. And so then the National Guard militia is called in to scatter them. Cut it out! Jesus murderers! Lucifers! Spawn of Satan! And so Nathaniel Wood leaves in shame and disappears and dies. Joseph Smith Sr. has been taught. He knows about the book of Revelation. He knows Jewish Kabbalah. He's a member of the Knights Templar Yorkites. Thus, Hiram is named Hiram, Hiram, on his birth certificate. as the court documents would show later on. The church still refuses to acknowledge that that Hiram is the same Hiram who's Junior's brother. Well, then where's the other Hiram then, who's supposed to be in jail too? Where is he? Why aren't you linking it? So, skipping ahead. September 22nd, 1923. William Morgan, having served in the War of 1812, Napoleon's late war, taught in the schools with Jewish chiasmus, learns of the Illuminati plot that they've now infiltrated the Scottish Rites Freemasonry. And he got the whole graphic details of every plot, every step and stage for 200 years to use the Book of Revelation dates to cause Armageddon and burn the world to the ground. He needs to get this word out. And so he moves to Western New York. And in Batavia, David Miller of the Batavian Press funds in advance to write this book. He gets a home there in Batavia for his wife and kids. And then he goes out to find a fellow Yorkite lodge, as he became a Royal Ark Mason of the Yorkites. And it's a 7th rank out of 10. And he would find Ontario Lodge number 23 in Canandaigua, New York, the Master Mason. Knock, knock, knock. Welcome, fellow brother. Come on in. The Illuminati are here. The Illuminati are here. 1 if by sea, 2 if by land. I have to watch the movie again. Maybe Bigfoot took one of them. They've infiltrated the Scottish Rites. They've got some test runs for the next 200 years to perform. And so, with the help of Joseph Smith Sr., Master Mason, they begin writing a book with the encoding of the latter-day threat, using York Rites with the Knights Templar of Egyptian gold plates buried in the ground in the caves of southern Illinois, where Gyro marks the spot. 1363. Guys, do your research? No? Did you hear things from other people? Have to redo everybody who thinks they're an expert? I'm a spoiled, privileged brat who wanted everybody to just give him the answers. He learned quickly in school, hey, you're reading from the textbook and demanding we go and memorize the textbook so that we can regurgitate the memorization on quizzes and tests? And that's how we get graded, is on our memorization ability? Oh, hell no! I'm learning associative memory. Teaching it myself because nobody else is giving me the answers. Yeah, that was after Mrs. Fiskin gave me an F on my Idaho report. Bleep you, teacher. I don't need your education. You're just another brick in the wall. You know, my parents did argue with her for hours. She was refusing to budge. I don't know why they publish those books anymore. Still. Stargate, Samuel Jackson, Egyptian. God. So, yeah, in the end, it ended up as a C-, but the damage was done. I am full in rebel mode. Teacher created me. So yeah, my mom had to then tell the story of how her grade school teacher insulted her pretty picture of a pernpole flower. My mom was never able to say purple. Said there's no such thing as purple flowers. Well, little purple pansies dressed in yellow gold. It's a primary hymn. But her teacher called her out in class and insulted her purple flower. Whatever. So don't worry, she's dead. Church murdered her. Made sure I would get murdered. They failed, but they got her. Right, Oaks? You were involved in that decision, weren't you? Don't try to tell me you weren't. All 15 of you give the orders and sign the checks. And so, Junior knew about this, attending his father's meetings as often as occasion would permit. Not his brothers in Palmyra. And Senior now realizes what needs to be done. Junior is going to be the Messiah Ben Joseph to prepare a group of Americans to be the future army to save America, with the coming of Messiah Ben David at their head. And so Junior can't really be a scribe involved with this, but he's let in on certain things to be prepared. Father has to groom him for the job. He's just a kid. He's just 16 years old, arrested for glass looking. 14 more days. We'll do the video for you because they're... I can't get that high. Oh my hell, how does he do that? What is it with these guys that are singing with the high pitch? Big man, she's just 16 years old. See, that's more pervertedly creepy. Right, Sarah? What is she, 24? I know you're not. You're the one that Oakes is condemning. They already did it to Garna years ago. Dear God. Leave her alone. They're pimping her out. And I don't think they're doing the Spanish version of the... Are they still doing that, Garna? Are you still doing that? Did they stop that? It's been a wild Mr. Toad's latter days of the late war of Napoleon. And so, 9/11, 1826, William Morgan again is arrested. Senior Hal now has to act to save his life, has to get him out of the country. And there's some Thomas Monroe problems in Niagara. The membership of the lodge has to be kept and preserved because he's the master mason. Everything is about to hit the fan with the reporter that will eventually do the reporting on it and scare the colonists into burning down almost all Masonic lodges because of Senior's actions to save America from the Illuminati threat through the Scottish Rites. He sacrificed the York Rites to save America. So Senior got William Morgan out of the country, and I've told the story of his amazing journey of Baron William Morgan Trump. Skipping ahead. Spoiler alert, the last president, same guy, author. All of the conspiracy theorists know about this. And it's a York Rite, old creepy man who takes care of the wife and kids after the judge says he's officially dead. And Senior gets a book published under William's name, Illustrations of Masonry, I believe it's called. It's going to be in the video, even though I didn't write it down. Battery must be dying or I'm being cyber terrorized. Morgan. Did you go on a mission, Sarah? Obviously, you got a career in education. It's an apostate. Could have had, depending on how old you are, determines how many cow woman you would be. Johnny Lingo. They're showing me that in seminary, and I'm horrified. The dad is abusing her. You, Mahana, you ugly. Come down here immediately before I beat you. What the hell are you doing, Daddy? Leave her alone. She's not ugly. What the hell is wrong with you? I love her. Dear God. And so, yeah. Oh, now she's pretty. Because Johnny Lingo gave her a mirror. She had me at female. I saw her beauty. Not fooling me with these crisis actors. God. What kind of a movie is this? Jesus, seminary teacher. This isn't even a kissing movie. Yeah, illustrations of masonry. Exactly 116 printed textual pages. A lot of extra pages. Cut them all out. 116. Claimed to be by William Morgan. The secret exposed that everybody knew, because anybody can come to the meetings to know. And so, yeah, it was a big dud to calm the people down. This is what he disappeared for and was likely murdered by the Illuminati of the Freemasonry. It's all the same. Of the devil. 33 degrees. York Rate doesn't have 33, and they don't do degrees. That's Scottish. The mystic tie, dumbasses. You're a witch! Burn! Burn on crosses! We'll cover our faces with white hoods to become the KKK after we become the Confederates. Yeah, I'm skipping ahead again. Skipping ahead. So yeah, Book of Mormon, 116 pages, Martin Harris, the wicked man. That's what it's all about, Mormons. Ex-foes. You think you're so clever because you think you know it all because you listen to somebody else and you got a faith promotion of the doubt promotion. Never bothering to check the original person to say, oh, they lied. They were compromised to Brigham with the death penalty if they didn't write in their journal as Brigham Young is hovering over them. Put that Joseph Smith touched you in your naughty place. No, I can't do that. Do it! Okay. Should we really be doing this about Joseph now that he's dead for 50 years? Do it! Joseph touched you in your naughty place, just like I'm doing right now. And then we're going to have our bishops with little kids interviewing them for worthiness. Are you handing over your tithing money to Jesus for his free atonement? And no fap until you get married in the temple, prostituting a Mormon girl, Billy? candy. No candy for you. Come back next year for a temple recommend. We're just pulling out all the pop cultural references, aren't we? Yep, I'm all alone. This is what happens, kids. I never want to be alone again. I'm going to get married right away as a young girl. Because Oaks told me to. I need to start reading. Oh, Oaks, dear bleeping hell. What the hell is wrong with you? Oh, right, multi-personality disorder. See, he doesn't think he's Jesus. He thinks Jesus speaks through him. So his psychologist says, here's some drugs, little Oaks. And he's shaking. All you had to do was be good, and we could have fought the Nazi psychologist together. And instead, you're evil, so I get to mock you. Your fault. Just hand it over to me. You're about to die anyway. Dear God. I mean, seriously? Willingly being evil. And so, yes, this has to be the only logical reason, is that Brigham Young and his Danites, spoiler alert, knew they're the enemy. And I can go on to all of the evidence I've been doing in 10.2K videos. We're wrapping it up. This is why the Book of Mormon was written. Joseph Smith's history of the second vision. This is why the Book of Mormon's out. To warn of Armageddon by Christians who were going to infiltrate Joseph's church. And in 1838, he already knew they infiltrated his church. So none of it's literal history. Yeah, ex-foes, you got it right. But you missed the point of what he's trying to say. The windows of heaven have been poured out during this recording. And you've missed the point. Just perfect timing. Nonetheless, beautiful run this morning. Beautiful run. Not in the rain. It wasn't raining when I was running. But, well, obviously things have changed. Obviously things have changed. Yesterday, a full-on blizzard of hail that turned into snow. And then, like a man in heat, it went away. I was your sun, your moon, your guiding star. Without you I dwell in darkness, and it went away. Yeah. Yep. Just like that. The 2-minute man. But wait 7 seconds. Just awesome. This is what my whole mission has been since the 23rd of September 2017. Guess what the date is all over scriptures? All you had to do was run the test. You're not doing it. You're looking for the man like David Moses III. You're not doing it. I have demonstrated the gifts and powers of seer, prophet, revelator, and translator, and you're denying and rejecting them. Sticking to the old and busted official statement, we deny the gifts and powers. They're mantle titles. Be in awe of our mantle titles. And no translator? And so, being born and raised in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Covenant Path, conceived after daddy prostituted mommy in the Los Angeles temple, would be endowed with new name Nephi, not Moroni, in the Los Angeles temple, Temple of Malachi. Malachim. Joseph knew. Daddy knew. Taught Junior. Joseph Smith added scriptures to warn that Brigham Young's Danites are coming to murder us in the latter days. And somehow they knew, because the Illuminati didn't believe it was going to be possible. It's all self-fulfilling prophecies of the villains of the Bible. And here Brigham Young is self-fulfilling the villains of the Book of Mormon, turning it Christian, turning it literal history. And Mormons are falling for it, even if they leave the church. The big con continues to ensnare and bind to Jesus, because we got to use bind now instead of yoke. Oaks is in charge now, not Nelson. And so yes, Trump, the last president of the late war of Napoleon, where Canada burned down the White House. And the press keeps falling for it. They just play along with this little game. Oh, we're fact-checking Trump. How many lies did he tell in this speech? You're not getting it. The church made sure to get him put in, because Mitt Romney lost to Obama. And thus a test run in 2020. 3rd Nephi chapter 7. So yes, this is not a test run, despite the second year attempt, because 2025 failed. Dear God, all these 2 centuries of plotting and planning, infiltrating, rising up in number, rising up in rank, taking over leadership, causing the destructions with the New World Order over and over and over again, and you fail in the final latter days when it's supposed to be implemented? I did my part. couldn't you do yours? And you never even believed I would be real. God. Why do I always have to do everything for everybody? Okay, Oak, step aside. I'm gonna be the Antichrist. Step aside, Trump. Yeah, well, Trump is on his well on his way now. So, yeah, they prevented Department of Homeland Security, ICE, from being funded. And so, you know, causing some problems, creating some weaknesses in security of terrorist sleeper cells in America who are going to rise up and take advantage of our weakness now because the Antifa wouldn't fund ICE. And we're now at Armageddon war with Iran, who keeps adding new countries to the list of the war. It's coming. And now the puppy killer is fired. Yeah. The director or secretary, whatever she's called. Director, I think. Isn't it? It's director, right? It's not a secretary position. Secretary of War, isn't it? Exactly. Regardless of whatever their mantle titles, you ain't got no gifts or powers. So yeah, now they don't have a leader. During Armageddon War, not being funded. Do you see what I warned you about in advance? They need a 9/11 trigger event, and Trump is again trying to get people to say, hey, this is our opportunity. America is weak. We're pissed off. Death to America. Let's get them. Trump last year pardoned January 6ers, pardoned other criminal terrorists, and they did nothing? What the bleeping hell? They're now suing for money. No! Trump pardoned you to do it again. God, he's the president. He's going to protect you because the devil always protects his own. And so, yes, the murders that are not being prosecuted correctly, yeah, Trump's ear getting blown off, magically healed. Yeah. Hello, people. He's trying to get people riled up to cause it. He is never going to do it himself. He'll take away your rights, your liberties, your property, your lives, your wives, your title of liberty. But he won't do the 9/11 event. He wants you to do it so that he then can justify establishing martial law and crushing America. And nobody is falling for it. Everybody would rather give up their rights than fight back. So yes, this is why he's hoping now that all of this will lead to it. And if this fails, dear God, Oaks came out with 5 death threats last year before Easter, and you failed. And so again, now he's president, 5 additional death threats for this year. Don't fail your Lord and Master, Trump. Even though he's a little guy. Just so little, so tiny, so old and frail. They're all gonna laugh at him Is this the man that caused the earth to tremble and the nations to shake? Mr. Number 7, or not 7, number 666 for 18, with the 18th Relief Society president. Mormons can't catch on, huh? Travis, you're making all this up. It is symbolic of Jesus' condescension for the second coming to burn everybody and resurrect the righteous. They that come shall burn you. Hello, Mormons. You are supposed to be the youth of the noble birthright to save America. And you're failing. You're arguing with me with your spiritual witness feelings. And I'm using the scientific method. You bastards. You betrayers. And so, yeah, Mullen, he still has to be Senate confirmed. Don't get all excited that he's now taking over. They have to wait. And being Friday, it's not likely that it's going to be today. It's going to be next week sometime or whenever they're going to get around to it in the Senate. And so, yes, Trump is hoping that with this weakness, that somebody will take advantage of it. Fox News is even trying to warn that something's going to happen. Antifa should have funded the bill. And so, yeah, $1 billion per day it's costing, as we're paying contractors for war profiteering. BYU Jerusalem still stranded. So yeah, I wrote it down somewhere and I can't see it. Thought I wrote it down. Nelson, his Jerusalem vacation. This is the place that Jesus made holy. No, it was King David Moses III, you dumbass. Hater of Jews and Mormons. Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon. I will not burn the book. And so, yeah, YouTube channel had an awesome picture of the two women at the Jerusalem Center looking out over the Dome of the Rock of Islam that doesn't belong there. Van Damme should have just let it blow. He did a movie called The Order. And the one punk teenager from The Terminator was the villain in that story. Nonetheless, just do my videos and nobody's listening because YouTube's shutting me down. Fox 13 News Utah, I guess, is getting criticized for reporting repeatedly the elder abuse of caretakers, care centers. You're a news organization, you're supposed to report the news. Tell the old biddies, the Karens of the church, to shut the hell up. You're the news. Back off, man. I'm a reporter. Because you should be grateful, because Fox 13 News investigates the church when they get forced to. You don't want them to have to settle for investigating the church. Just think of all the potential crimes that I listed yesterday. People just, they want to take away other people's agency, tell other people how to live their lives. And yeah, local news does that too. with the first snow of the year, we'd like to remind everybody how to drive. Because this year's report said that Utahns are the third worst drivers. Ronald McDonald K. Jr. is now trying to ban sugar. I thought it was awesome that the Terminator had sugar at the top of the pyramid. Cool. Yep. This must be the cakes kicking in. Hopefully my urine won't turn yellow. Wait a minute. On my mission for my birthday then, we were in the Bronx, so I was finishing up. In the final months, the missionaries baked me a cake and dyed it green. Lots of green dye in the cake. And so I ate it, and sure enough, out came green. Green eggs and pee. And poo. So yeah, just nobody should be listening to Ronald McDonald K. Jr. He's got a worm in his brain telling him to do things. Don't listen to him. He's purposely destroying the federal government. 3 Nephi chapter 7, 10.2K videos. God. Here we go to the sad part. 3 Utah girls murdered, where Sarah Murphy is on the scene. Sarah? But yeah, Mormons are kept in a bubble, just like Desiree. They don't realize the evil in the world because the church is all covering it up and hiding it from them. And so yeah, there's a lot of tough girls out there. Not just Sarah. Idaho chick is a tough girl. But others, because of the church's abuse, and it just crushes me. Just wanted you guys in Zion. Just wanted you to save your lives. I do these videos, you're arguing and resisting and denying and attacking, trying to shut me up so that you can join in the murders. You had the Book of Mormon, you had Joseph Smith's words, and you never understood them. Senior saved America and sacrificed his son to save America. And Mormons were literally supposed to be the chosen ones. And so yes, Oaks is neglecting Mormons on purpose to see who will be loyal. You're not supposed to be loyal. It's Lucifer in the flesh. I did the pretty picture. Isaiah called it for both of them, the protagonist and the antagonist, from the Latin Vulgate. Nelson being Mars, that was just an added bonus, because there's no way they could have planned that one. But Canada is trying to rescue its people. Brits are trying to rescue their people. Portugal is trying to rescue their people. And yet, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who's got members in all the world, who has a membership of 17 million, is doing absolutely nothing to try to get their people, their missionaries, home. This is Armageddon. You know, maybe the church is being cautious, waiting to see if Trump is going to pull it off, waiting until after the 9/11 event in America. But no, if you're a good and true leader, you bring them home now. You don't put your members in harm's way. You don't cause the problems to hurt your membership. You don't physically punish your membership because they don't believe your lies. But you're good and true, right? So you're not lying. So why are you punishing people who leave? So Cuba, being without oil, is now out of power. Trump says he's going to let them marinate for a little bit longer before he goes in and crushes them. There's some concern about AI and the Iranian war. The press is showing AI video content, warning that it's not real. Our news is real about AI not being real. And again, if people are watching your news, they're not watching the fake news. Anybody knows that a channel of some dude or some whacked out name is not real news. So obviously it's not true. And dear God, yet the news treats you as dumb. And so yeah, there's two women, and I think they're married. Or maybe they're married to each other. I don't know. That may be why the church isn't trying to rescue them. But they're trying to get out the word, help us, we need to get out, we're trapped in Dubai. Why are you in Dubai? That's a sex trafficking capital. And you're all alone with each other? Dear God, there are a whole bunch of R-rated movies about this kind of thing. What the hell are you doing? Again, tough girls being led astray by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to be sabotaged. Department of Homeland Security, Homeland Health and Services in Utah has now threatened Utahns. Threatened. The Department of Health and Human Services put the scare in Utahns not to be vaccinated. And now that the measles is running amok, after being gone from vaccinations, gonning it, now the Department of Health and Services in Utah is now threatening Utahns for causing the measles outbreak. You stop it right now! You can't just tell people to stop it. You gotta get them vaccinated as kids, you dumbasses. Quit denying science. My hell. And yeah, it doesn't help that we have Ronald McDonald K. Jr. with a worm in his brain destroying science in the government position. So, needle pulling thread. Yeah, I was severely punished for those 9 quick vids. You don't get it. The damage I already caused. Conference is coming up in less than a month. Members of the church are going to start searching on YouTube rather than choosing what you recommend them to watch. And they're going to be typing in General Conference, April 2026. You know that this is going to happen. You can't rig the algorithms on this because it's going to hurt the church. I told you to leave me alone. You wouldn't do it. But yeah, temporarily they think they're winning by shutting me up even more. One view, one view, one view, one view, one view, one view, hour after hour after hour. I know what you're doing. I know you're pissed. Church isn't true. Deal with it. Happy birthday to me, my ass. At least I shut my brother up. Threatened by the church. Strengthening church members committee. Get him, Todd. But he's my older brother. He always gets me. Do it! Or you're going to be fired and excommunicated. Oh, okay. Here's $2,000, lawyer. The church is going to fire and excommunicate me if you don't shut up my brother. But what? You're his lawyer, and he told you he's going to be fired and excommunicated by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, of which your last name is a direct connection. If you don't commit a crime to shut me up, and you're not going after the church, huh? Yep, it's all a loyalty test. Commit crimes for the church. The church doesn't pardon anybody. They don't have that power. Yet. Dear God, such evil, and Mormons just fall for it. I'm using you as a thumbnail picture, Sarah. We have to make up another one, I guess. I don't know what.